Hi everyone, welcome back. Today on my channel we're going to be making some chewy pumpkin cookies. I've been wanting some cookies. Let's make some pumpkin cookies. So I hope you stay tuned for that recipe. And don't forget, just right now, hit that thumb and hit the bell icon so you're notified of every video I upload. And if you're new here, my name's Debbie. Hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you. So let's get into making our chewy pumpkin cookies. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do to make our chewy pumpkin cookies is we're going to put a half a cup plus 2 tablespoons of butter into a pan, and we're going to make brown butter. So if you're not familiar with brown butter, if you ever hear a recipe that calls for brown butter, that just really means you take your butter, you melt it, and you get it to where it turns a little bit golden brown. You're just browning your butter. And what that does when you brown your butter, it actually brings out this sort of a little bit of a nutty flavor. It makes for a delicious taste in your recipe. So let's get this butter browned. It's going to start to turn kind of foamy like this. Want to make sure and keep stirring. And then once you see it's kind of that golden brown color, then we're going to pour it into a bowl. So into this bowl, then we're going to be adding 2 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice. 1, 2. And we're also going to be adding a half a teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Then we're going to stir this up. I will tell you, if you want to brown your butter easier, I just used my frying pan this morning to fry some eggs, but do it in a frying pan. It's much faster than in my little saute pan, which, you know, the butter was probably about that thick. So it'll be a very thin layer in your frying pan and it will go much quicker. So we're going to just let that sit in this bowl for about 5 minutes to cool a little bit. Now we're going to put in a half a cup of dark brown sugar and a half a cup of granulated sugar. Get those dissolved. I think those are all mixed in there pretty good. Then to that, we're going to be adding the egg yolk. Doesn't take an egg, it just takes the yolk. We're going to whisk that in. And now we're going to be adding in our pumpkin butter, half a cup. And there is a way to make pumpkin butter. I think there's a recipe for it online. But of course, I just bought mine. So I'm going to stir this up. It was a little watery on the top. I'd say there's about 3/4 of a cup in the jar. Incorporate that really well. And I think we're going to be ready for our flour. We are going to have to refrigerate this for a bit before we bake the cookies, about an hour. So give yourself time to do that if you're making this recipe. We're going to add a teaspoon of baking soda. This is a half a teaspoon. And then our flour. The flour is going to be 2 cups. Mix that up a little bit. There's one. I'm going to mix that in just a little bit before I add the second cup. And two. Mix that in there. It's a little bit of a rainy day here today, but we're really thankful for the rain today. We haven't had any rain for a while. Everything was turning brown, and we have some new grass trying to grow in an area we planted about 2 weeks ago. So we've been having to use our lawn sprinkler, and I don't like doing that. I'd rather it have nature's water. It's a lot cheaper. I think we got it just about all mixed up. It smells like pumpkin pie. So we're going to set this in the refrigerator for about 45 minutes. Then we're going to preheat an oven to 350, and I'm going to line some cookie sheets with parchment paper, and then we're going to roll these in sugar and bake them. And I did that on my peanut butter chocolate chip cookies. I like to roll them in sugar. Gives them a cracked effect on the top of it and tastes really good. So if you haven't seen that video, scroll down and watch my peanut butter chocolate chip cookies. They turned out delicious. So we're going to get this in the refrigerator, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so we're ready to make our cookies. Have the dough out of the refrigerator, nice and chilled. We're going to roll these into balls, roll them in sugar, and bake them. And she firmed up quite nicely. So I'm going to roll these into some nice size balls. Again, I'm using this KitchenAid scooper. I'll have to look up and see what size that is. It makes a very nice sized cookie. I would say it's like 1.5 inches, maybe. We're going to just roll that in sugar like that. I'm going to flatten it just a touch and continue on the process. Okay, one pan down. That made 12. This is a little bit smaller pan. Okay, so this made 21 cookies with the size scooper that I used. So let's get these in the oven and bake them on 350 for approximately 12 minutes. They just came out of the oven. They're smelling really good. I'm gonna let them cool on the pan for maybe 10 minutes, and then I will come back and tell you how they tasted. Okay, here we go. I got one that's a little deformed, so I'll eat it. Mmm. Okay. Mmm. When they say a chewy pumpkin cookie, it is chewy. And it's delicious. And it tastes a little molassesy in the middle. It's crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside. It's that pumpkin flavor. You can taste that pumpkin pie spice. Wow. I'm afraid to take another bite. I'll chew so long. It is a chewy cookie. I really like the texture. I do. I don't know if you can tell, like when I break it, it's just, it's delicious. And like I said, crispy on the around the edges. I just love when it's crispy around the edges. So definitely I'm going to have to go get me a glass of milk. I hope you try this recipe, and I hope your day is a really good one. And until next time, take care of yourself and each other. Bye.